Never felt that, come on, yeah. Never felt that, come on, yeah. When I never felt that, come on, yeah. You gotta get up.
In the days of 18 and 1, hey, you know.
All right, so I hope that you've gone to the recap and taken care of that particular quote response. If we take a look at what it is that we're supposed to know when we're done with section 1, simple, why is the United States successful at industrialization? So there are a lot of different steps or causes for that, and you're going to need to be able to list and explain those to me.
In the days of 18 and 2,
Gross national product. If you don't know what a gross national product is, you can ask me, you can ask a friend. You have the schools log on to vocabulary. They've got a great video that covers the whole thing.
in the days of 18 and 3, hey, you know.
All right, so raw materials are anything that you use to make a finished good. As we expand into the West, that gives us more opportunities to access raw materials. And the Transcontinental Railroad is going to allow people much easier access to the West and to these raw materials. Titusville, Pennsylvania, that is our first oil well in the United States.
In the days of 18 and 4, I said,
You can see where the major resources are.
my pegs, my old.
Right, our population doubles, and you can't do that simply by making babies.
They've invented a new machine.
Large families, better living conditions, people live longer and lower mortality rates, infant mortality rates, fewer babies are dying, and they are making it to adulthood. Eastern Europe, China, 17 million immigrants arrived. If it wasn't for immigration, the Industrial Revolution could not have taken part in the United States.
Make 100 pad of my
Everybody's heard of Thomas Edison.
throw away my pegs,
His first invention, maybe you can appreciate this, was a gadget that would do his job for him so he can sleep on the job. Menlo Park is the world's first research laboratory. He developed the first workable light bulb, sort of, and then built/designed the first central electric power plant. This will be the creation of GE, which you'll see on television advertisements all the time. All right, so our first light bulb had been patented 50 years earlier, but the filament that actually lights up didn't last long enough to make them practical. Lewis Latimer, African-American inventor, he actually found the carbon filament that would last long enough to make the electric light bulb a practical invention. So many of the inventions that he gets credit for were actually done by some of his employees at Menlo Lab.
you know. In the days of 18 and 1.
George Westinghouse, he and Edison are going to be direct rivals. So now we're going to push electricity to farther distances and cheaper. AC versus DC. Alternating current versus direct current. Edison put together a traveling show that included electrocuting cats and dogs to show just exactly how unsafe alternating current was. He's going to lose that one. You plug your computer into the outlet, which, by the way, do that so you don't have to do it in class. It's going to receive its energy through alternating current.
In the days of 18 and 3, hey, you know. In the days of 18.
So he's going to send voices through electrical wires. It also helps when he pays the patent clerk $100 and Bell gets Elijah Gray's patent for a speaking machine for him to copy. So he's going to put the two together and come up with a much more usable invention.
In the days of 18 and 4, hey, you know. In the days of 18 and 4, hey, you know.
Thaddeus Lowe, ice making machine. Now we can keep food for longer periods of time. Swift, and you go to the grocery store, Swift is still a brand name that you're going to see on your salami and bologna and the rest of that. Shoals, the typewriter, automatic dishwashers. I'm George Eastman Kodak. Hopefully you've heard of that. So an entrepreneur is somebody who's going to risk capital, risk their own money in an attempt to start a business, or other people's money as we get into investments.
Make 100 pad of my one page,
So again, even in the capitalist North, the initial prosperity, the initial success is going to be able to be tied directly to our nation's reliance on slavery. French term for let the people do as they choose. Basically, it means the government should have, in the strictest sense, nothing to do with the economy. So basically, the path they took was not actually hands-off, but pro-business. So high tariffs. Tariffs in and of themselves are the government's involvement in the economic system of the nation. They will give $650 million in loans to railroads. Mineral rights are going to be sold greatly undervalued, and then the railroad companies will again make profit off of this. What the government was hoping to do, then the railroad companies would then invest that back into laying more track and building the railroad. All right, so as we are done here, we listed a whole bunch of different ways the United States was successful at industrialization. So can you ask yourself that question? Have I internalized? Do I know ways that the United States, why they were successful at industrialization?